Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Lunar Radio.
Hello.
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 I'm your host, Jay Broning.
I'm here. Daylight Dargle.
Daylight Darko.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
So we come to you today with very important news.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that there was another episode of Ponies. It's almost like they planned it. Like they planned that there would be another episode every week. It's crazy.
What?
So I think we're just gonna go over the episode and then we'll talk about some news as per the norm. How's that sound?
Norm.
Norm.
Can you really call it norm?
Sure. Norm for the past 12 episodes or so or whatever. 11 episodes, 12. So we open on Rainbow Dash, starting to train for the Equestria Games with Fluttershy and Bulk Biceps, not called Snowflake, like the...
Can I just say I'm glad that the name didn't stick?
Oh yeah, well, that was a fandom name, so of course we knew, the show writers can't use fandom stuff, even though they do, but they're not supposed to, blah, 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 blah.
They can use fandom stuff. I just didn't like the name Snowflake.
Fair enough. It turns out they are the aerial relay team, and they are just trying, at this point, they're just trying to qualify for the games, not even the full on games yet. Turns out Pinkie Pie is their cheerleader. Imagine that. Applejack then shows up and does things with apples, makes apple brown betties, I think they're called.
Yep.
And yeah, they look very brown and not very appley, but apples, and she has a whole cart full of them. So, whatever. Turns out that Bulk Biceps can barely fly, which is, kind of funny. But we also kind of knew that from previous episodes. So
in previous episodes, they flew fine.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, he was having problems. Same with Fluttershy. She had a little bit of problem getting off the ground, but yeah, we know that she can fly fast when she needs to. So, especially when there's big meanies around. But we find out. Then
So does that make Fluttershy the worst friend ever? That she can fly fast, but she doesn't when Rainbow is around?
Sure. But after some flying hijinks, we switch to the train, which is heading towards, we find out...
Hype Station! Choo choo!
Turns out to be Rainbow Falls, a.k.a...
Rainbow Falls where?
Well, Rainbow Falls.
Where? When? When this happened?
When did this happen?
When did Rainbow fall?
When she got off the train. She fell when, stepping off the platform and stuff,
Did she actually? I don't remember this.
It wasn't on screen. It was just kind of implied, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that would be a pretty good joke, but
yeah, we find out while they're on the train that the other flyers of Ponyville are taking place in other events, and that you can only be in one. So that's why it's Bulk Biceps and Fluttershy on the relay team, and not anybody else. So, But we're also finding out that Rainbow Dash fancies herself as an epic level carry in this game of life, and that any team can benefit from her presence, aka win. So somehow the entire main six comes along to do their own stuff, because they do their stuff. Pinkie is there as a cheerleader, like we said before. Applejack is their food coach, I guess, and Rarity is there to make them outfits. And Twilight is there because she's a princess. I don't know, maybe something. They get off at the place where they're trying to qualify, which I guess is named Rainbow Falls as well. But, just a guess based on all the falling rainbows from the sky.
What?
And as they're showing up, Rainbow Dash gets recognized as one of the strongest flyers in Equestria by random people. Crazy.
I figured they must have finally caught up with Saved Equestria as a group multiple times to get recognized.
Well, I mean, she literally way back in season 1, she saved Rarity, with a sonic rain boom. And, in front of everybody. And the people that mentioned her and noticed her were both Pegasi, so but she also gets recognized by the Wonderbolts, who are there flying for Cloudsdale. So, yeah, she, Spitfire and Soren and somebody else, who I don't remember their name because they were so forgettable, come up and are like, hey, Rainbow Dash, good to see some competition here. Yet, the rest of her team is kind of eh. But, whatever. Rainbow Dash, epic level carry. So...
Why didn't they get anyone else to get on the team?
Because they're all doing other events.
I mean, they're all counting on Rainbow to do really good epic level carry. Why not give her a prioritized team?
Well, because then there wouldn't be an episode. But whatever.
Oh, okay. My suspension of disbelief is being challenged.
So Twilight also reluctantly, since she seems to be there for no other reason, becomes a cheerleader with Pinkie Pie. And we find out to qualify, you have to be in the top 4. Or do you?
It doesn't seem like you do.
I double-checked. I rewound and checked. And they...
Even though, spoilers, at the end of the episode, they were...
5 teams on the podium? Yes. It says top 4. I think Rainbow Dash says top 4.
Yeah, and they were competing against a set time.
True. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't make any sense. But...
There's a lot of things that don't make any sense.
But it is just a show. But whatever. So you start seeing them training a little bit. And side note that I noticed is that somehow the baton is sticky to their hooves, but not quite, because Fluttershy almost drops it. But it's obviously just sticking to their hooves, so I don't quite get it, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Magic. I also put as a side note here that when Rainbow Dash falls, or when she's on the ground, falls. When she falls, Rainbow falls.
Oh, okay.
That she's beside Twilight, or she didn't even really fall. She's just kind of standing there by Twilight. Twilight seems to be getting taller, or at least there was an animation error in that frame that made it look like it. Mm-hmm. But I think she's getting taller. So maybe, but kind of ever so slightly.
Maybe Twilight size depends on your ego.
Maybe. But they end up, Team Ponyville then ends up watching the Wonderbolts for inspiration. The Cloudsdale team. The Cloudsdale cheerleaders end up distracting Soren, and he crashes, hurting his wing. And then we cut to commercial while he's falling to the ground. We flash back from commercial, he's still falling, and Rainbow Dash saves him before he goes splat on the ground. So Soren thanks him, but gets hauled away on a stretcher because his wing's all messed up. And everybody's like, you're so great, Rainbow Dash, including the Wonderbolts. It also turns out that Bulk Biceps is kind of dumb and thinks Rainbow Dash starts with a P. So.
Yep. I guess if you take away the part of the R, it's Painbow Dash.
Yeah, Painbow Dash. Nice. So Spitfire and the Wonderbolts try to convince Rainbow Dash to join them. They mean practice with them. So they also pull out a Wonderbolt Academy reference saying, hey, you can handle training with 2 teams at once because, we put you through some shit at the Wonderbolt Academy. So, callbacks. Season 3 callbacks, nonetheless. She agrees eventually and starts training with both groups, but is obviously preferring training with the Wonderbolts. We get a little montage with including a Rocky reference with a little "You're a bum, Rock," except not really. He's just on screen. Mickey is on screen, or a Mickey-like pony. So,
is there a montage in the episode?
Sorta. Mm-hmm. Sorta, kinda. So it all works. Lots of a couple little references there. Twilight starts to notice her absence and eventually calls her out on it, sneaking up behind her when she grabs a drink. And our Rainbow Dash admits that she likes training with people more her speed, the Wonderbolts, and not her own team. It makes sense, but it's also kind of, the dick move.
She's helping out the competition.
This is true. Wonderbolts invite Rainbow Dash to take Soren's place because supposedly he's not going to be ready in time, but that means that she wouldn't be able to fly with Ponyville. Twilight then does something very clever and says, "Hey, you're gonna disappoint your friends by not flying for Ponyville." And Rainbow Dash is like, "What do I do? What would you do?" She's like, "You're gonna have to decide for yourself." So I like that the moral wasn't spoon-fed. You know, it made her put her into a moral quandary. But Rainbow Dash, Twilight definitely pretty much told her the answer already, and she knows the right answer. But Rainbow Dash
then she grew a couple inches as her ego grew.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, then Rainbow Dash shows up with a bunch of injuries after tripping on, and Pinkie Pie is angry at for tripping Rainbow Dash. Fluttershy takes Rainbow Dash to the medic pony, and the medic pony can't find anything wrong with Rainbow Dash. And Twilight is, obviously seeing right through her ploy, though the rest of her friends are very sympathetic. They are even so supportive that they find a replacement for the team. Some other pony that nobody's ever heard of or seen before, I think. They show her on screen, but whatever. Just kidding, it's Derpy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's Derpy, and the internet goes wild for Derpy! Woo! She has, I'm just going to spoiler it now. She has no speaking role in the entire episode. Get over it. It happened that way.
Is it wrong that I think Derpy would be a better flyer than Buff Biceps?
Yeah, she'd probably end up being a better flyer than Bulk Biceps. If it was Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, and Derpy, they'd probably have little to no problems whatsoever. But
yep.
Oh well. I'm not saying they'd win gold, but So Fluttershy then says, if we end up going on and winning gold medals at the Equestria Games, that they're going to give them all to Rainbow Dash because she knows how much Rainbow Dash wants to win a gold medal. And it's so sweet. I don't know why Rainbow Dash didn't just jump out of the bed now and be like, I was faking it the whole time, I'm sorry. But that doesn't necessarily persuade her then. As they walk out of the room, Twilight, very smugly, as she grows another inch or two because of her ego, says choosing not to choose is the same as not making a choice at all. Which is very true. Turns out, though, Soren is in the room. Says, hey, you got some nice friends there. Nobody's come to visit me. And we also find out that his wing is better and has been better. But his teammates said that they didn't want him on the team. They found a better flyer, which of course was Rainbow Dash. Then we see a light creep into the room from the window, and it hits the water carafe on the table next to Rainbow Dash's bed, and then it shines into a rainbow onto a pendant that's on the ground, and then we see the same type of rainbow shine in Rainbow Dash's eye that we saw in Rarity's eye in Rarity Takes Manhattan.
Maybe that's important.
Maybe it's very important. Or maybe it's mildly important. Maybe
they refer back to those events in the season finale, like they did in episode 2.
Potentially.
Something's going to happen.
Something might happen with that. Ignoring, any potential merchandise referencing that we've seen outside of the show. Something might be happening with these rainbows. Not quite sure yet, though.
Are they going to dash?
They may dash, but they may not. She gets all excited, and then we cut to commercial, come back. Twilight's worried about the team, says pretty much in no short affair that they're not going to make it. Derpy gives no fucks. So, Then Rainbow Dash shows up, walking when she wasn't walking before, and comes clean on her injuries. She said I didn't want to she wanted to fly for both, but the decision was too hard. And she ends up making the right choice and flies for the winners. And then they win the Equestria Games and the episode and the show's over. It's forever. Yay! I mean, never mind. She chooses Ponyville. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She then does something pretty awesome and calls the Wonderbolts out on lying about Soren and being a huge bunch of dickholes. So, Wonderbolts take back Soren. She flies with Ponyville. Cloudsdale makes it, of course. And Rainbow Dash makes it just at the nick of time in epic level carry style to get them into the Equestria Games. And as we mentioned before, we switched to a podium style scene showing
With 5 teams.
With 5 teams, even though they said 4 in the beginning, but whatever, 5 teams. One of them is a Griffin team, though, so maybe 4 pony teams and 1 Griffin team?
Or maybe Rainbow Dash just can't count.
Or maybe Rainbow Dash has no idea how the qualifying works. Rainbow Dash then writes in the shared journal that she will always pick her friends over winning until she forgets how to pick her friends over winning and does it.
Why does it have to be a shared journal?
Because that's what they're doing. It's what they're sharing. It's a shared journal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same journal. They're all writing in the same one. So there. And as we fade out, a Wonderbolt pin that she got from Spitfire shines with the rainbow, just like the thread did in
Rainbow Warrior.
And Rarity Takes Manhattan. And that's the end of the episode. Barring the reappearance of Derpy, I would say that it was an okay episode. It was definitely Rainbow Dash is confused about what loyalty means, yet being the most loyal, supposedly. And they get her straightened out in the end, only for her to forget until her next episode. So, forget when her next episode comes up, of course.
Hopefully never, but I'm never that lucky.
So, yeah, what did you think of the episode overall?
It was boring.
It was boring?
Mm-hmm.
What about when you include the Derpy reappearance? Kind of meh on the derp? No comment, I guess? No comment. Okay. Well, then you'll be disappointed to see that, according to one of the show writers, that Derpy is back, and she's here to stay, not going anywhere. So expect more of her in the foreground, I guess? Sort of? But probably with no voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's that?
Kind of ground. Any ground.
But yeah, I think that's it for the episode. I don't really have anything more on that, so I think we'll head into news.
Do you got news?
I do got some news.
Ooh.
First up, we have a couple synopsises. This is
as usual.
First for episode 12.
Mm-hmm.
That's the full episode synopsis for Pinkie Pride, is in the episode title, if you've forgotten. An elated Pinkie Pie is planning the biggest and best birthiversary party ever for Rainbow Dash. But when another party planning pony named Cheese Sandwich rides into town, plans change. Soon every pony is so excited about Cheese Sandwich's party that they forget about Pinkie Pie. But her pride won't let her go down with an official goof-off on blah, blah, blah on the show.
So, I hope that Cheese Sandwich's celebration involves a hardware store opening.
That could be pretty good.
That'd be perfect.
And for those who have forgotten so quickly, Cheese Sandwich is voiced by Weird Al Yankovic, and there was a little while ago, I forget when it was, it might have been 2 weeks ago, but there was a preview of the song that will be in episode 12, and Weird Al...
I didn't watch it.
What's that?
I didn't watch it.
I watched it. Weird Al does sing, so...
Oh, okay.
That's all I'll say.
Is there bagpipes involved?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, okay.
We also have a synopsis for episode 13, Simple Ways. Rarity is known around Ponyville for her confidence and class, both of which are lost when Tenderhoof, the world-famous travel raider and apple of Rarity's eye, comes to town. So when Tenderhoof's attention is drawn to Applejack, Rarity does the unexpected and begins to dress and act more like Applejack than herself, which ends up in a muddy mess.
Muddy mess?
What?
What?
Oh man, got some jealousy, aka an episode about, don't change who you are for somebody else. So.
Oh, like that's never been done before.
Right.
with Rarity involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Driving home the lessons.
Maybe
Proving...
brown isn't her color.
Maybe.
Wow, I just watched my friends learn this lesson last year.
Nah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. And in the show, it would have happened last year. Not 3 years ago.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're confused on how long a year lasts for some odd reason.
And how many season the years has. In what order.
In what order they come in.
and how long they last.
Well, you would have to think that Celestia, just whipping the sun around willy-nilly is going to have an effect on, the seasons. So, then Luna comes in and she's like, it's night for like a half a day. And,
And Celestia's like, no. We talked about this. Sun's coming back up now. Don't you say anything, otherwise I'll make you go back to that moon of yours.
Do you imagine that maybe they have like battles like in the middle of the night? Like all of a sudden it's just like the sun just kind of comes up, wakes up a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden it goes back down, and it's just Celestia. She's just trolling people. Mm-hmm. Well,
I think that curtains would be a very good commodity.
In Equestria, yeah.
So do you think that they do that only for Equestria or the whole world?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Like, it'll be night, day for Equestria, and everyone else is like, what the hell?
Right. What the hell?
Just take one step into Equestria. Oh, it's daytime here. Okay. Didn't expect that.
Crap.
My eyes are burned.
It's like getting on a plane and then getting off a plane in a different time zone. So
jet lag. As I took one step, jet lag.
Yeah, one step jet lag. So they also there's also been a reveal about episode 15, which includes the title, Twilight Time. But another tidbit.
Stop.
What?
Twilight Time.
Can't teleport this. Sorry. That was bad.
Can't horn this. Can't horn this.
So Twilight Time, the other tidbit of information is it also will include the Cutie Mark Crusaders. So Twilight.
Another Cutie Mark Crusader episode where the message is relayed by Twilight and then they just ignore it.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Okay, shall we place bets on whether Twilight says My Little Ponies again?
Maybe. I give you I don't know. Let's say there's probably a 60% chance. I'd say 60% is the over-under. So, but we, stepping back just a quick step, we have a little bit more information from Daniel Ingram, the song producer for the show, on the Pinky Pride episode. And here's the quote from his Facebook. Last year I got the news from Hasbro that none other than Weird Al Yankovic, one of my childhood music idols, would be guest starring on My Little Pony, and it would be a musical. After the initial panic attack, I'm not worthy, I got to work on what turned out to be some of the funniest, craziest, and sweetest songs of the series so far. It's going to
be musical.
Yes.
So there's going to be more than one song.
Of course.
Okay. Continue.
Next came the trip to LA to record with the man himself, and it did not disappoint. I won't say much more at this point, except to hang on to your hats and watch the historic episode in 2.5 weeks. Are you ready? Exclamation point, question mark.
There's question mark, exclamation point?
Yes.
And the correct way to read that would be Interrobang.
Yes.
Which is a technical term for that.
Yes, I know what it is.
Okay. You didn't say Interrobang.
I know, because I felt like spelling it all out for our non-technical listeners.
But you spelled it out wrong.
Damn it. Ding dang it. So, next up we have a little bit of sore spotness from the fandom area of the show. And that is about...
Isn't that all the area of the show?
Maybe. Depends on who you ask. So, the off-color, some think downright insensitive Tumblr blog of Ask Princess Molestia that had over 68 100,000 followers, was had its doors closed in this last week, Friday, and the humor was adult, but also included things like Gamer Luna and spend kind of there was whether you enjoyed it for what it was, enjoyed it for what it wasn't, or enjoyed it for just plain old Gamer Luna. The blog is gone. And the trio behind it, John Joseko, Kaplan, and somebody named Jen, had announced that they planned on starting up something else outside of the realm of Pony in the spring, and to keep your eyes on the Twitter page. Only to roll around to Monday after the weekend, and there is now a official Gamer Luna blog done by JJ, as far as we can tell. And yeah, so we lose one, gain another, and we'll see where it goes from there. As far as I could tell, the blog was not necessarily removed due to complaints from the community. It may have been caught in a random scan due to its adult humor, or the potential that the blog was not marked as not safe for work or adult, and therefore complaints were heard outside. Mm-hmm. But as far as we heard, they were looking to end it anyways. They felt that the comic that had been released was apropos and did not want to fight on getting it put back up, with the potential for an archive to come soon, but that is also a giant question mark. So we shall see what happens, but keep an eye out for the Gamer Luna blog. I believe it's askgamerluna.tumblr.com, I believe is what it was. So, yeah. Any opinions on the whole situation? I'm guessing not, but...
Not really.
Just another blog.
Mm-hmm.
And last little bit of information here before we move on to con stuff. Claire Corlett, who voices Sweetie Belle, posted on Twitter that she'd be writing a script for Jan Animations, and Jan Animations replied, said that sounds great, and he was happy to help. People made a big deal about this, that, oh my gosh, Claire Corlett is going to voice Sweetie in Button's Adventures, or something, crazy like that. But it turns out that Ian James Corlett, Claire's father, confirmed over Twitter that the project is real, but it's a private sort of card for a friend. So I'm just going to say, for the people who are interested in potentially seeing anything like this, use your brains. I doubt Hasbro would be very happy if their official voice actor decided to use her voice talents for a fan animation, but excuse the pun, bucking copyright left and right. And yeah, so it sounds like it's a very private, from one person to another, with the help of somebody who's very talented in Jan Animations. So don't get your hopes up that you'll ever see it.
Mm-hmm.
Move on.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Moving on to conventions.
BabsCon?
BabsCon is in this list.
Oh, okay.
But it is more than just BabsCon.
Oh.
It is
BabsCon?
Well, that and more.
BabsCon?
But it is Equestria Daily's convention listings for the year of 2014, which brings together a bunch of the...
BabsCon?
Yeah, and more. Starting off with...
BabsCon?
Not BabsCon.
Oh.
Trottois, Ottawa's first Brony convention. And you guessed it, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, okay. I was guessing BabsCon.
January 26th through January 26th.
Oh, well, you better get on that.
Yeah. So, if you're interested in that one, and you hear this episode before that actually happens, then yeah. So you can go there. Ottawa. Yeah, go.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them at, it doesn't seem like they have a website. They just have a Twitter feed. I guess it's They're partnered with, just look at them for Twitter, twitter.com, Trotwa, Trottawa. And then, you'll never guess what's next.
Japan PonyCon?
No, BabsCon.
Oh, you tricked me.
Ha ha
Ha.
We've talked about them a lot. Plenty of guests. 13 members of the North American show staff. Just, come on down. It'll be a good old time. April 18th through April 20th. You can find them at babscon.com.
Are you going?
I am not going.
Oh.
There's, then next on the list, we have Japan PonyCon.
Big Apple PonyCon?
No.
Oh.
Japan PonyCon.
Oh, that's what I guessed, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's happening on May 4th in Ahoji, Tokyo, Japan. And you can find the website at ponycon.jp if you're somehow in Japan for that. But, whatever. And then we have Big Apple PonyCon.
Not TriCon 2014?
No, not yet. Coming. You're one ahead. Slow down. Big Apple PonyCon, which I must take a minute here to say that last year they made a big deal about bringing. There's kind of a little bit of a thing about this con. So BronyCon was New York's Brony convention.
Mm-hmm.
They had the first year it was in New York proper. Second year it was in Secaucus, New Jersey, and then of course last year it was in Baltimore, moving out of the state of New York or even the metropolitan area of New York City. So, but last year Big Apple PonyCon came along and said, "We're going to take back the New York Pony convention."
New York Pony.
The New York Pony. So they came back and they're like, "We're going to do that." And they had it in New York, and everybody complained that it was not that great because it was in the middle of New York City, place where you don't really have conventions, especially in hotel ballrooms.
Right.
And now, this year, June 6th, 2014, June 7th, 2014, they are now in Jersey City, New Jersey. So, once again, New York City proper does not have a pony convention because, well, New York City itself has problems holding low to medium-sized conventions. So, but you're going to see Kathy Westluck, Tabitha St. Germain, Nicole Oliver, and Bonnie Zaccarelli as the guest of honor. Who?
That sounds like pasta.
But she created the show. Well, she created the franchise pretty much. She created the toys. Then we have TrotCon. I'm going to speed through the rest of these. TrotCon, June 20th through June 22nd. You can find that at trotcon.net. That is in Columbus, Ohio. Then we have Crystal Fair in Helsinki, Finland. You can find them at, that's from June 4th to July 4th to July 6th. You find them at crystalfair.fi. Then we have Fiesta Equestria from July 11th to July 13th in Houston, Texas. You can find them at fiestaequestria.com. Then we have the Grand Brony Gala, August 15th through the 17th in Tampa, Florida. And you can find them at grandbronygala.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brony Can, August 22nd through the...
Wait. Can they?
Yes, they can. August 22nd through the 24th for all you British Columbian Canadian viewers in Richmond, to be exact. And
wait. Brony Can, British Columbia? I'm sensing a theme.
Yes. You can find them at bronycan.ca. And then we have Sydney, and that's from September 27th through September 28th. And they're in Sydney, Australia. Imagine that. And then we have Brony Scott. They are going to be taking place in the autumn of 2014. And you'll find them in Edinburgh, Scotland, in the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Also coming up, the standard, some stuff that we don't have any official stuff from, Everfree Northwest, PonyCon AU, Midwest Brony Fest, Canterlot University, MLP Fair 2014, Galacon, Brony Fanfare, Ponyville Cider Fest, Buck, and BronyCon, of course. So, but we all know that BronyCon has already scheduled their dates August 1st through the 3rd, 2014. So that's that. And that brings us to the end.
Yay! What about BabsCon?
BabsCon. It's happening. Go.
Oh, okay.
Go if you can. I cannot.
I can't.
Well, then neither of us will be there.
I guess I could hold my own convention running camps.
Well, you'll give us updates on that as it progresses.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that just brings us about to the end, and I think it's time to go.
Okay, then I'm gonna go.
All right. See everybody later.
Bye.